You'll have to forgive me for the backdrop, for the sound, the video quality of this one, but I'm sitting here at the dining room table and a thought comes to me. Out of nowhere, I start thinking of David and Goliath, the biblical story. And it's just so awesome how that unfolds. The battle. David, he's like, I'm going to go give it a shot. I'm going to go kill this guy. And the king's like, well, you have to put on my armor. David puts on the armor and he's like, no, this isn't going to work. I have to go out there without the armor. So he goes out to the battlefield and Goliath sees him and he says to David, he says, am I a dog that you come to me with sticks? And the Philistine curses David by his gods. The Philistine said to David, come to me and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, who you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. And I will give the dead bodies of the host of the Philistines this day to the birds of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all this assembly may know that the Lord saves not with the sword and the spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hand. That's awesome. I can only imagine how awesome this scene would have been. You've got these two armies facing each other, David and Goliath in the middle, shouting at each other, David saying what he just did with confidence, his voice rolling out across the field in an echo. It's probably awkwardly silent, probably met with a couple of laughs too. People thinking, oh, this guy's going to take on our champion? Yeah, right. But then Goliath gets up to go meet David, and David ran quickly toward the battle line. He didn't hesitate. He said what he said, ran to the battle line, pulls out a stone from his bag and slung it and struck the Philistine on his forehead, and the stone sank into the forehead of Goliath, and then Goliath falls on his face to the ground. So when David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone and struck the Philistine and killed him, there was no sword in the hand of David. So then David ran and stood over the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of its sheath and killed him and cut off his head with it. I'm sure the silence was still pretty awkward at that moment. Everybody's trying to process what they just experienced. Goliath being laid out on the ground, this little guy pulling out the giant sword and chopping off his head. And then after they realize what just happened, they bolt, they flee. Such an awesome story. Folks, God is so good, there's no doubt about it. Sometimes we are all like David, we're small, and we have to face down these giants. And I'm telling you, God can help us get through those giant moments. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And I recommend that if you don't have a relationship with him, seek one out. Pick yourself up a Holy Bible. And what I read to you was from 1 Samuel chapter 17. That's where you can find the story of David and Goliath. But if you would like to learn more about Christ and you don't have access to a Bible, send me an email. It's over on the homepage there on YouTube. Folks, have a good one. May God bless you.